Before we move on to the episode, I'm going to do the shout out this week, if that's cool with you.
I have a feeling I know who you're going to shout out, but you can do whatever you want. It's your show too.
All right. So before we get into the content, I want to just give a shout out to Share Your Genius, our production company. Thank you so much for making our show look amazing and making us sound good and editing clips when Nick and I go way off tangent. So thank you so much. If you're looking for a podcast production team who is also venturing into YouTube, then reach out to Share Your Genius and tell me your friends Nick and Erica sent you.
So, Erica, what do you want to talk about today?
All right, today's an interesting one. I want to talk about energy. And I don't think energy would come up on your bingo card of words that you need to scale your business as a solopreneur. But it's actually one of the most important factors. And where you put your energy in your day and how you use that energy so that you can build the kind of business that you want is so important to understand. And there's just so many different ways that energies affect the kind of business model that works for you. So I want to walk through that today. I want to talk about it. And I want to start by reading you a post that inspired this conversation. But Nick, what do you want to say before we get into that?
I want to know, let's define some terms, right? Like energy can mean a lot of different things. And there's two that we're talking about it in two really specific contexts. One is energy in that things that give you energy and things that drain your energy. There's that part of it. And then there is the actual energy it takes to do stuff, like the effort required, to complete a task or to see something through or to keep it alive and keep it going, right? They're two different forms of energy or two different applications of it. And I want to make sure that they're clear and that we may use the word energy and jump back and forth between definitions. Hopefully the context will make it clear, but I'm going to try to make it obvious as we're talking kind of where we're at. So cool. This whole conversation was inspired by a post from our friend Jay Malone, who helps people create offers. And he has a very different approach to it. And he had a take that I don't want to say we took issue with it, but we felt like there was a lot of context and nuance that was missing. And so it's worth kind of unpacking some of that. And the big thing that after when you and I talked about it, the big thing that we kind of landed on was the energy variable here is probably the most important one. So summarize the situation here and let's get into it.
Yeah. So I read this post and it's basically saying retainers, which are a business model, one of the ways you can make money as a solo consultant, are lazy. So retainers are lazy. And then he said that he dropped that last week and he got a lot of reactions. Most people agreed, some politely pushed back. But everyone was like, okay, so if I shouldn't sell retainers, what should I sell instead? And he is now saying the answer is a packaged, productized offer. And now he goes on to compare them side by side. So he says, from your client's standpoint, they'll choose your productized offer over your retainer 99 times out of 100 because they know the outcome, timeline, and price up front. They're not wondering, what should we do this month? The offer is clear and low risk instead of vague and in need of a prenup. So I like the writing. I like this post, but there's the nuance. I think we should address the nuance as we go because there's
This is not incorrect.
It's not incorrect.
What he's saying
so much
in those bullets is not incorrect. The issue that we took specifically was that the fact that it just makes a blanket statement that productized services are the holy grail of services. And it's just untrue. They're great. We love them. We help people productize their own services in a lot of ways. And in many cases, that may be an outcome of our work with people. But I think that they are great and appropriate for some. Yeah. And the contingency there, the thing that would opt someone in or out would be their ability to throw energy at it, or this being a model that gives you energy. Because to boil it all down, the problem with productized services, and we have talked about this ad nauseum in past episodes, we had Anthony and Rob on to basically talk about this exact problem.
Yeah, those are the guys from Fletch.
Yeah, we had them on to talk about this exact problem, which is it creates a client rotation problem that most people can't keep up with.
Yep.
Right? It requires a lot of energy to acquire clients.
I want to break this down though even further because like we're gonna get broader.
Do it.
But like there's just a couple of things in here that I just think are fundamentally untrue. And when they're presented as fact, and like I get why. Like this is LinkedIn. Come on. Everyone. Like this is, and me saying this right now.
It's a spicy take.
It's a spicy take. Yeah. Like everyone is like, oh, 99% of this, right? Like this is a compelling post. And I like it. I like the way it's written. I like everything about it except, I need to debunk some of the things presented as fact because a lot of the times there's just a nuance and it's hard to find that on social. But for example, from your client standpoint, they're going to choose productized over retainer 99 times out of 10. So 99% of the time or 99 out of 100. That's just not true. Like Nick and I sell retainers. Most of our clients sell projects or retainers. Like everyone who sells a retainer is doing just fine. Clients are choosing them. So making a blanket statement like that, I think what he's trying to say is that because of all of the points and the bullets, like that's why clients choose it. And our POV on that is maybe, definitely not 99% of the time, but also you can standardize a retainer and still achieve everything in these bullets. You can standardize a retainer and present it in 4 phases so it looks more like a project. And in that way, you're just telling people, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to get done. This is when we're going to get it done by. You can absolutely do that on a retainer.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I think this is just a lazy take because like it's just a blanket. It's too blanket of a statement. So no, here's status quo. And I think this is important, right? Mm-hmm. Status quo retainer is agency sells, especially like the agencies space that I came from, especially like a lot of the HubSpot agencies, they'd sell points. And so they'd say like, hey, you're a big company. And so you need 100 points a month instead of 50 points a month or 200 points a month. And they'd say, well, what are we going to do with those points? And the salesperson would scope out like 3 months worth of work. And they'd say, this will be the first 3 months. And then you do this like retro and planning cadence with them. And so you basically allocate the points every single month and you kind of determine like, what are some of the tactics we're going to do. That model kind of sucks because you don't really know, like everyone's kind of like, you're just going to figure out what we're going to do. And Jay's point is saying like, people don't like to buy the ambiguity. Right? They like to buy defined things. Like if you could buy, when you place something that is undefined next to something that is defined, of course 99 out of 100 times people are going to pick that thing. But that doesn't mean that all retainers are just completely as a total black box. It's just that to me is just so untrue because one, this is why we sell a retainer and we say that there's like a spectrum between fully custom, which is like the model I'm describing, a standardized service offering, which is, I think, really where we are, where there's a lot of the decisions have been made. The major beats or milestones and checkpoints that you need to hit have already been predefined. And then there's like fully productized, where every single step of the process is like fully contained, fully defined, already like predetermined, and it's like a set scope. And I think there's a lot of, and there's a million things in between. So all that to say is, there are other options than either customized retainer, like ambiguous retainer, or fully productized.
1,000%. And I love it. I'm picturing now the image we need to make for this, which is
I drew it on like
it's just a line.
Piece of scrap paper. It's just a line with 3 circles from left to right, and left side said custom services.
Yes, exactly.
The middle
That's exactly it.
The middle said standardized, and the
Why have
far
we not
right
made that?
said
There's a new
productized.
thing with the AI Studio Nano Banana thing that you can sketch something and then upload the sketch and it'll just turn it into a thing for you.
Oh, that would be nice.
I'll do it. Send me a picture of the sketch and I will do it today.
All right. I'll find it. Anyway, but I want to talk about where the energy component comes into this because and exactly what Anthony and Rob talked about, it is a slog to run a fully productized offer that has like set start and end dates. There's no variations in scope thing. Like the only variation is like, it's the way that they describe it is like we're positioning more than one product. So basically it's like multiple projects coming from one company all at once instead of just one positioning project. So it's like there's very little variation in scope. It's a slog. And Jay likened what I said to like, are you saying that churn is a concern? And I was like, churn specifically means, and like the way that it kind of read was like, churn is like people are leaving. And like, sure, what do you call it? Churn? I call it client rotation, because like they run in, they and then they rotate out. Like the project is done. Like they're leaving on a good note, but they are leaving. And so the energy is deployed in marketing.
Yeah. I didn't realize there was a blog or a newsletter that went along with this post, and I've now opened it.
I have not read it. I admittedly said I didn't read it in one of my comments.
I didn't even realize there was one because I was just responding. But this is very interesting. And the more that I'm reading this blog, the more I'm understanding that his POV is he is saying a retainer is not scoped. Like retainer equals not scoped in his mind. Because he said a retainer is basically the professional equivalent of, so what should we work on this month?
And that's a POV. Like, hey, let's be clear here. Let's be super clear here. And this is what we talk about with like when we made the Aaron and John example last week, right? Like there's a lot of people trying to solve the content problem. There's a lot of people trying to solve the offer problem. I have a ton of love and respect for Jay. Like he's trying to make a difference for people in the same way that we are.
Yep.
The difference here is that if you believe that offers should look like what Jay says, you don't want to work with us.
Yes, exactly.
Like if you want his formula and the way that he approaches it, like working with us would be the wrong decision, because you're going to get a totally different output from us.
Yes.
Now, hopefully the goal is we all take people to the same place, which is like a better life and a better business.
Yeah. This is such an important point that I didn't even realize we were going to get to, but differentiation, like this is when we had a whole episode on differentiation, and it has to do with having a very specific niche down problem that you solve in the way that you think about solving it, and then credibility, right? So that's differentiation. But wrapped inside of that text box that I just described, you have to draw a big circle around it. And that entire thing with differentiation is enveloped in POV. Like POV is the beginning, middle, and end of differentiation. And this is such a great way to describe how someone could potentially see Jay as a competitor to us, because on the surface, we solve similar problems. But when you go deeper and you get more specific, we are living on different sides of a POV, which means we're going to get you to the promised land in a different way. And that's cool. Like that helps you decide.
100%. And that's the point.
Yeah.
That's exactly the point. Like the trouble is if we had the exact same POV as Jay, and if we had the exact same process as Jay, then it's a comparison, right? This is like the downfall of agencies. It's like, we'll build you a website, and it's like, cool. How, like, what, like, well, what kind of website? Well, it's going to have this, like the pages, and they're gonna, like but all our websites are going to have pages. But what about your website? Is it going to have pages on it? They're like, sure is. And it's going to have these pages and the same as those. And it's like how you get there, or the type of result that you lead them to, or the type of output, which would ideally lead to the desirable result we're looking for here. That's the thing that people are going to grab onto. If people believe in their heart of hearts that retainers are the laziest way to build a professional services business, like you'll probably have a more fun time working with Jay than you would with us. And it's not that we say that retainers are not that productized is bad. Like I said, we help plenty of people do that, but our approach to building out the offer, there's more nuance to it. Like we don't have a set, like there's not one operating model or one engagement model that we deploy. It's more so we got to fit the engagement model to you. So for an example, right? Like there are some people that walk away with a fully productized offer because they have the means, right? And they're capable of they have the energy to market enough to support that, right? They can produce enough traffic to fill their client roster with 2 to 5 people per month, versus the retainer model requires 2 to 5 people per quarter. And when we audit people and we say I just don't, if they're not marketers, or they don't like doing a ton of marketing, or they don't have the traction yet, retainers introduce a lot of stability in your life, a lot of much needed stability in your life. There's no need to try and cram your services into 2 weeks because like it makes for good marketing or something.
100%.
Just don't have that energy, or marketing drains their energy.
Yeah. And I love that I have experience from this so that I can speak on it. not just from anecdotally, but from firsthand experience. Because when I first started my solo business, I was selling courses and cohorts. And then I ended up selling a group program for a while. And that requires things like continuous types of marketing. So you can get people, like a lot of people, a high volume of people into a place that you quote unquote own, like a newsletter or something that gets you their email. So like a webinar. And then you nurture them there to join some sort of a program. And it's a continuous process. I mean, you and I had like a 20 email long nurture sequence at one point for a coaching program we did. And I pushed Jay on this in the comments because I was just curious what kind of productized service he was talking about, because my journey ended up taking all of my energy. I was exhausted. If I wasn't posting and marketing and trying to do something to get more people, it's such a volume game. So you're just always looking at the numbers, like what are the numbers right now? And you have to keep hitting them. You have to keep staying top of mind, hitting people with stuff like, I became like a professional at launch emails. It was crazy. It just took, but it takes so much energy. I would crash so hard after a launch or after something. And yes, there are absolutely ways to take yourself out of the process a lot more and automate a lot of it. You can like pre-record a webinar, promote it as an event, or run an event once a month, whatever. There are totally ways you can do that, but you have to, I wish that I had understood just the absolute monstrosity of energy it was going to take from me, someone like me, with my own way of preferring to work. It absolutely burned me out. I was burned out so hard. I was always tired. I was always crashing. Yeah. It was like an adrenaline high and then a crash, an adrenaline high and then a crash.
Yeah. Well, also so let's drill into a couple of things here. One is like selling products versus a productized service. So like productized service, still slightly lower volume than a product, like a course would be, but still requires an immense amount of energy all the time to keep it going. It's not that all these other things don't require more energy or any energy to do, but it's just like, what do you have the energy for? What gives you energy? What drains your energy? And for the most people I know, they hate playing that game. Like, it's not that they don't like creating content or they don't like marketing, like, heck, most of these people are in marketing, but it doesn't mean it's not exhausting. So it is a slog. And I think it's important to take that nuance into account.
It's just it's all important. Like the nuance that you don't understand when you first go out to build your own business, just how many options you have in front of you. And that can be extremely overwhelming. And there aren't that many people that really educate the market on this. I mean, we're part of dozens that I can think of.
Well, I think the other side of this, which is like, and I want to be clear here, Jay does say that like in the comments, he says that retainers are like the next thing, not the first thing. He's like, well, there's like sister offers, cross sells, upsells, like to get, and then you put people into like more stable stuff. So like, I think there's certainly a bit of, you sell them into a retainer or continue the relationship like after the original offer is delivered. And okay, like however you choose to go about it, but either way, it's like you're still setting yourself up to need, like that's if people do it or if that model makes sense for you, but it's like you're still setting yourself up to need an immense amount of volume, right? Like it is not very common in our experience to see people hitting the revenue numbers, and revenue's not like everything, but like, hey, like you're in this business because the revenue potential is significantly higher than working for someone else. So we have to take into account. We don't see very many people in productized services hitting the type of numbers that we're talking about. Like basically everyone who's coming into us doing 20 plus, they're all doing some type of retainer or like longer term project, some bigger project that's basically build on retainer.
Yes.
Instead of saying, oh, this is a $70,000 project, they're doing it at $7K a month or $10K a month over the course of how many ever months as a commitment like that. So anyway, all that to say is like the fact that it's not so binary. It's just not. And I think productized services are great for a lot of people. I think they're great in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of logic. Like the more you do a thing, this is like our whole thing. The more you do a thing, the more productized it becomes. But that's an operational efficiency. The more you do a thing, the better you get at it. The less time it takes you to do a thing. Now, where I see the wheels fall off is still always going to be on client rotation. I think everything always comes back to client rotation. If you need 2 to 5 clients a month compared to 2 to 5 clients a quarter, like, you tell me which business you'd prefer.
Well, some people really do, though, have the energy for it. It's exciting. So I do think that I certainly prefer now, and then I'm glad that I went through the process of understanding the effect it was going to have on me, because there was like, I understand the appeals. I'm trying to say it's exciting. It's literally an adrenaline rush. That's what it is. It's an adrenaline rush. You have to do this like crazy thing every month. You got to keep the wheels turning, the engines running. Like it's a high volume manufacturing line, and like it's fun when all cylinders are rolling and you're getting money and you get the ping from Stripe all the fucking time.
Yeah, you're feeling great. I mean, when we first opened up Full Stack, we were like, this is the future. Like,
it's like going to a casino. It's fucking crazy. It does something to you, I swear. And then when you're done with whatever that launch, I guess you're never done if you got like the world's best nurture sequence ever. But I did a lot of, it took time. It was a process. Anyway, when you're done and you've hit whatever that goal is for that month, you like sleep for a minute at the end of the month and then into the first again. And you're like, I need more leads.
Well, what's interesting is that like, if creating content at that clip gives you energy, by all means, like create productized services or like create more products. An example of this that I saw recently, and this is like by no means, like this is no mean shade. This is me making an observation about what I saw. Caitlin Burgoyne of Unignorable, they did this is the last cohort of Unignorable a while back. And then she posted recently and she was like, we fucked up. I think that was the post. She said, I fucked up and we should not have stopped doing this. Like, we realize now that we don't have it, how much we love it. And we want to.
It's also like $1 million revenue stream. It's an extremely successful product.
Yeah. But the point I'm saying is like, Caitlin could easily go into services, but services, it seems based on the way that she's building her business, that drains her energy. What gives her energy is creating a lot of content. And so she built a business that serves her life by creating products and launching shit. That serves her.
She told me, and I related to it because this was when I was still selling products. She was like, I tell myself I'm not going to build a product for like a couple months. And then I always end up just building a product because I can't help myself. Like, she's a creator at heart. And some people really are. But there's also, if we're drawing another line, you've got creator on the left, and then you can have productized services in the middle. And then on the right, you've got more like standardized retainer or then like custom work. So I think there's also a gap. Like, there are people that have creator vibes that are drawn to the productized service. And then more of the people I feel like we work with are really just interested in doing like good work. And yeah, maybe they'll like launch a product for fun, but it's not the
Therein lies the issue though. What you just said is 100% of the issue, which is like,
go ahead.
Caitlin being a creator, like that model of products, whether it is a service or a actual product, like a digital product, like that model serves her because she is a creator. And the problem we face is that when people who do not create things or are fulfilled from creating things try to sell products, that is the issue, I think, at the end of the day, because there is a lust to it because it seems a lot easier. I mean, again, like even the people that we know that sell this way, they're still creators. They're not selling $99 courses or $800 courses. They might be selling $10,000.
Yeah, I mean, Fletch.
They're selling $10,000 sprints.
The easiest example. Yeah.
And
or Brendan Hufford, growth sprints.
Yeah, he's selling his growth sprints model.
I consider Brendan a creator though, and I consider Devin Reed a creator.
Now, here's the interesting thing though. Devin Reed and Brendan, like, they tilt way heavier onto the services side, like probably more standardized than fully productized. Like, Devin offers advisory and consulting.
The majority of their revenue comes from their productized, standardized services. Yep. But what I'm calling them creators because they literally are like giddy at creating content. Like they love it. And most creators feel like they can't stop. They don't want to stop. Like I'm a creator. I just burned myself out and am like thoroughly enjoying creating just less. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just like, I'm chilling out. I'm like,
creator.
no, you're not, but you are a podcaster.
Yeah.
And
that's like a subsegment of
you're a
there's a niche
subsegment.
down.
You're a niche down creator. Of course you are. That makes sense.
That tracks. That tracks. But podcasting is, I guess what people think creators is like, how do you write a bunch on the internet?
I don't know. I think most YouTube people would consider themselves creators.
True. I guess I'm thinking in the context of LinkedIn. Yeah. YouTube creators, certainly.
I mean, TikTok creators. We have a client who's a TikTok creator. She's obsessed with going viral on TikTok. She's so funny.
Yeah, but that's just like a hobby.
It's not for business.
That's just a hobby.
It could be though. It might evolve. It might end up helping the business later. I think right now it's more of a hobby.
Probably. But anyway, so we're kind of like, we've digressed. And here's the point remains, which is the work you do and the engagement model you run must give you energy, right?
Yeah.
If you're not the type of person who is interested or has the desire to market a lot, do you have the means? Do you have the desire? Do you care not? Like all of those things to create a lot, productized services are going to be a less stable model. Now, I'm not saying in theory, productized services will help you sell. Like it will make it easier for any opportunities you have for you to close them, because like I would suggest anyone put guardrails up and define their offer, right? This isn't me advocating don't define your offer. I'm saying understand what you're doing. If you're trying to sell a 2-week service to someone and you struggle to get clients, that's probably a really fucking stupid way to build your business. Like try to hold on to clients longer if you can, because not like out of like desperation, but like try to build an offer that serves your marketing model right now. Like you can
always adjust.
You can change it later.
I mean, we don't turn people into creators by any means, but you know, most of the people that work with us, not most of them, I said half of them are active on LinkedIn. They're just not getting inbound from it. And the other half just aren't. They just haven't been for however many months because it's not in, they don't have time. It falls down the priority list. I don't think that necessarily happens for people who they've got that creator whatever in them. Like they can't help it.
The major thing here is your ability to generate leads. Like at what volume can you do it?
Yeah.
Right. That's really the whole takeaway. And if your ability to generate leads is low or doing that work, I mean, some might say, hey, if you can't generate leads or doing that drains your energy, you should probably not be an entrepreneur. You should probably just go get a job. And to that I say, maybe there's nothing wrong with jobs. Maybe that is something to consider. But regardless of where you're at, like sometimes some things also can't be delivered in 2 weeks or 4 weeks. Like it's just sometimes that's the case. Sometimes things need
also like things reset on the first, and there's no problem with having a model that serves recurring problems. You can have a productized or standardized model that solves recurring problems. Fletch is considering this right now. Fletch has a 2-week. They just published
something a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they have a 2-week sprint, and now they're like, that creates a problem because if what we did for them doesn't get integrated the way that it needs to into the entire go-to-market in business, then like it's gonna be kind of for nothing. So maybe we can help them implement it. So they solve a one-time problem that then, as you say, poops out a recurring problem. And they're thinking about maybe we should solve that. I mean, it's an easy upsell, right?
Yeah, it is certainly an easy
very smart
offer. So recurring problem. I mean, this is the whole other end of this discussion, which is productized services tend to solve a one-time problem, right? Retainers like solve the recurring problem, and so. Even there, like take the energy conversation out of it and just like look at it objectively. What are you doing for people? So we realized, like, if you look at the way that we built this thing, it was like, cool, I need an offer is a one-time problem, but I need content every month to market and sell that offer as a recurring problem.
Yes.
Now, my original model before we like fully merged this business was like, I need an offer. And then it was, I need help selling it. And so there's like a lot of coaching involved in the work that I did, which made it a recurring problem. As like people grew and had more conversations. We work out the talk track, we optimize and refine all this stuff. But like, this is an even cleaner model. It's like, you need new content every month. You need new content every week. So we help you do that.
I want to say more though, because it's your recurring problem has simply been elevated, because now you've gone from I need help selling this to the leads are flowing. I need help closing this. And also like you've become a pseudo advisor, like a business advisor. Right. Our clients come to you with every single roadblock that they hit in their business, whether it's how do I respond to this email, to please review my sales call or my call with a prospect and tell me what I did wrong around the 10-minute mark because it felt off. These are like, you're just there. Like you're looking at everything that has to do with business development and client retention. Like you're literally a business advisor. It's cool. It's fun to watch you cook.
It's good to cook. Thank you. But I think what we've done is like, we've just added in more layers of like, we've made this recurring problem even more undeniable, right? Like before it was like, well, I could probably, if they didn't have the lead flow, and this is like the big aha we had, it was like, without the lead flow, that other part of my skill set and the things that I did were not nearly as, like you didn't need it without the leads.
It was a later, it was a later problem. I'll solve these problems later when I need money first. I need leads. Yeah,
exactly. It's like, I need leads in order to send you calls to review. And if I don't have leads, then like, I don't know what to do here. And that's not like your ability to insert into the content creation arm of all of this, like just accelerated all of that.
It's so
significantly.
Fun.
So we've
like,
layered
I feel like we're
in
on turbo
more
mode. Like,
dude, it's crazy.
Leads are flowing in like within the first month for like almost everyone. It's so cool.
I know, it is nice. It makes you feel good that you can make a difference for people. But the point that I'm saying here is like we've layered in multiple things here. So it's not just like, oh, I need content on the first, like I need more content every month. It's not, it's also content, it's sales, it's advisory, it's like, it's client upsells, it's churn, it's negotiation. There's so much to this. And we end up baking all of that in. The point remains, which is like, even if you're running a model that does or doesn't serve your energy, it drains your energy, gives you energy, it takes a lot of energy from you to do this stuff. Who cares if this other end of the thing, which is recurring problem, recurring service, or recurring offering versus a one-time problem, one-time offer, like that thing, like that must also align.
Yes.
That's probably like the first box to check before you go, okay, great. Now do I have the means to even build this thing out?
Yeah, 100%. Part of our day one with clients is we're auditing every single client that they have and all the tasks that they're doing for them. And we're asking them to tell us what's giving them energy and what's giving them energy and taking energy. And we bake the energy into the offer that we end up building. Because if you hate doing this thing, the next question is, okay, is this necessary? Is it something that can be delegated? Can it be automated? Does it need to be part of what you do or not?
Stop doing it altogether.
Yeah. Can you just not do it? It's like, it's crazy because people don't it's hard to stop and ask yourself these questions. And when you're confronted with it, especially on day one, it's just cool. It's fun watching people be like, oh, like I actually am in control of my business time and energy. I get to decide.
So here's what I think this comes from. You, right? Like you driving the marketing for our clients. I believe that like that creates the sense of freedom, because before it was like, well, when people come to me and they ask for X, like you don't have the option in many cases to say, no, I'm going to give you Y instead. or I don't like doing X. Like you just tend
Yes.
to do X because
You
like,
need money.
you need it's just like you need options in
yeah.
order to call some shots here or feel comfortable doing that. And when I say need, like this is a psychological need. Like you can just do it if you feel it. Like you could just say, no, I don't want to do it. Like, no, that's not what we do. We're like, oh, based on what you told me, I know you want X, but what I think you really need is Y. Like you can say that. But without options, people tend to just not do that because it's scarcity of leads. So
Bringing me back to me a couple of years ago.
So once you have someone else helping you, like I think it's funny, like we are basically the first act of delegation. We talk about like standardize, automate, delegate, like we are the first act of delegation to get marketing off of their plate because it occupies a lot of space in their mind. It's something that they're like, maybe they like to do in some capacity. Like they like to create things, but they don't like to play LinkedIn. Like that tends to be the first act of delegation is like, let's offload that. Let's take that off of your cognitive load. And so that you have more room to do the things that you're really, really good at or the things that you really, really want to do. And all of a sudden, their posture changes. Right now,
true.
all of a sudden, they're way more confident in saying, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. And then people come to you because they know the thing that you do, like everything else that we've always talked about, right? It's like
I would say
having
the
a
other
defined offer makes your life easier in about 1,000 different ways.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. Thank you. It's nice to have your work actually do something with an immediate impact. That's something that I realize gives me energy. I like to be part of the impact. It feels good. It's like teamwork. But anyway, something else. Duo. You get us both.
You get us both. Duo.
Something else that I think two people said that they feel much more confident this week. That was like something directly clients were like, my confidence is going up. And the reason is because of the proposals. Like if you're not confident in the work that you're quoting for and how you're going to deliver it in, like if you don't have all of that organized in a way that's really clear for you to understand and like do, and then for the client to just get it, like it's stressful. But once that gets organized, you can just get on a sales call and be like, this is exactly how it works. You're going to do this, then we're going to do that, and then we're going to do this. This is the price. Like, it's crazy. And twice this week, people were like, I've had like the best proposal calls ever. And clients are just like, prospects are just like, oh, that's really, okay, cool. That's clear. Like, it's just a good call. And not all of them, but most of them end up closing. Like, it's just, there's no confusion, misunderstanding.
I mean, we know, right? Answering the questions, what do you do and how you do it?
Yeah.
Like answering those questions eludes people because like they don't want to pigeonhole themselves. But having done this enough times, we know that if you're not having your conversation, like, yes, then that question has no context. It's just like, well, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I can do a lot of things. Marketing, perhaps, that is specific enough for no one. So to help narrow that down changes the nature of the conversations. And here's like an interesting part about this, right? And so this is where I think we have found that productized in a way tends to become an entry point. But for more clients now than recently, just because we've taken on a bunch of clients that are doing really complex and like really, I don't want to call it like abstract, but there's like super detailed thing like medical device innovation and regulatory pathways like that as a thing. Like you can't quite productize how to go from one place to like putting this on the shelves at a CVS or something, right? But we had to figure out a way to standardize the overall structure of the engagement. What are the main things that we need to achieve here? How are we going to do that? So we had to standardize a lot of those things. But where I think the productized component comes from, because a lot of times we introduce a productized like audit on the front end of these things when the service is basically gigantic. When the thing you're going to do becomes like super, like can feel very overwhelming in terms of all the moving parts. Like we introduce an audit that is pretty heavily productized, and it basically peels off what we call phase one of your engagement model. And it allows them to see like, okay, here's full size and scope and nuance of everything that needs to be done. Now, it still follows the standardized arc, but when you're talking regulatory pathways and reimbursements and all this crazy stuff that medical devices need, and like the nuances of all the different manufacturing things that you got to go through, which I know nothing about, and I'm trying to just say buzzwords to make it sound like I get it. When
something
you need
about
to build that,
something about a powder coated balloon or
something about a balloon.
A balloon is spoken of often.
Yeah, they talk a lot about balloons as these types of devices. You can tell that we get it deeply.
We get it.
The point is like, that's when we introduce that, because one, it de-risks. So like, what's the purpose of this productized layer? It de-risks the larger solutions. Like, how do you get someone to marry you? Well, you date first, right? Like, easy, very obvious thing. People have talked about this a lot. So we piece this together, and we really stamp out every step of that process so that it's easy to pitch. And this is what you're talking about, where people are like, oh, like I just was like, it was super easy for me to sell that. It's like, well,
yeah, because the roadmap existed in your head before, and you kind of did it in different phases depending on what the client needed. And now you have a process, and you say, I will audit, and potentially we could like take this thing from stage 2 and put it into stage 1. Like, maybe you'll make that. You get to decide, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance. Like one of the things that we help people work through in all of this is like, they're like, well, what goes here and what goes there? It's like, run it the way you see it works best today. Yeah. And then at the end, you're going to go, I didn't like that, or I liked that, or I think we should change this, or I think we should change that. That's the only way to really figure it out. You're going to change your process 1,000 times. And guess what?
I mean, Rob and Anthony from Fletch talked about this in detail. They have upgraded their process like every day since they started. Like, they're just constantly, and we do it too. Like, we have we
just did it again like last week.
Yeah, we did.
Because
like,
what should we update?
What do we like? What don't we like? Like, you have to feel for the friction and adjust for it, because again, you get to decide, do I like this friction? Do I have to put up with this friction? Is there a better way? Like, these are things we don't ask ourselves enough, and we must ask ourselves.
All right, to the thesis of this conversation, I called you the other day, and I was like, the way we're doing a certain task, and the way we're doing this thing, I was like, this is killing me. Like, this is not working for me. It was taking so much energy, and I was feeling overwhelmed by it. And because we want to do the best possible quality work for our clients. And I was like, the way that we're running this specific output is not working. And it's taken too much energy, and it's taken like way too much cognitive load to do. And you were like, cool, well, let's just fix it then. And I don't know, within like not even an hour, maybe a half an hour, you were like, here's what I think it could look like. And we ran it, we tested it across like, I don't know, 6 different clients. Yeah. Like, not like on calls. Like, we tested it in that moment. We ran like all of our stuff through this different process. And we were really happy with it. It was faster. We thought the outputs were better. And I was like, oh, okay. All of a sudden, I'm super energized by doing this task. And
right, exactly.
I even wrote down later that day, I was like, Erica's a wizard. Erica's a wizard.
We flipped your energy. Yeah, it was very cool. And that wouldn't have happened if you kept your mouth shut and thought that you had to just power through.
Right. Or just not being honest about the energy component of it. Like, it's everything. Like,
I've done
you can just change the way it is.
I've done it so much. Yeah. I used to think I really did just have to put up with it. And then, like, it's really bad when you have a client call coming up and you just don't want to go to it. That happened to me a lot towards the end of content sparring, to be completely honest. I was really struggling with it. It wasn't giving me any energy anymore. That's the offer I had before this one. And, like, that's also why community matters so much, and why you have to go make friends and network as a solo, because, like, just talking about these things makes you feel less crazy and less alone, and just understand, again, like, comes back to optionality, understanding that you have options as a solo, and that you don't have to do the thing that someone else is having success from. There are tons of ways to have success, tons of ways to slice the cake.
Here's the rub with all of this. Follow the energy, know to look for it, follow the flow. Like, there's a lot of that goes into this, which is like, don't habitually build an offer because it seems like the easiest way to go, right? And that's, I think, if I could summarize my entire take on it, is that productizing for the sake of that it seems easier, or that it is easier, is the wrong answer.
Yes.
Right? It is, you gotta
And if you
line
truly
up.
don't know if you're going to like it, you can try it like me. Figure it out
Yeah,
and then
try
do
it.
whatever the hell you want after that. Like, no big deal. You get to
Yeah.
decide.
You do get to decide. I mean, you get to decide everything in your life. Sometimes,
Hopefully.
sometimes people ride passenger in their own life. That's a whole
Oof.
different episode, though.
Oof. Dropping some, what is
Yeah, I
going
know.
on here?
I
Dropping
don't
some
know.
words at the end
I
of
don't know
this.
where we're getting.
Phrases.
But have an offer. That's the takeaway. Make an offer, right? Put an offer together. And there are a lot of ways to do that. And you want one that serves your life. And you need one that is commensurate with the type of problem you're trying to solve. And you need one that's commensurate with like your ability to generate leads today, not your ability to generate leads 6 months from now. What works for your business right now, the type of stability you need in your life today. If you got a 6-month cash in the bank runway, sure, you could probably play a little more fast and loose. If you got a big old mortgage payment and car payments and you got kids and you're like, Les, I need money now, like optimize probably for a little bit of stability there. Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but
I'm
also
not
in
telling
terms of
people what to
energy,
do.
like we had a client who's chilling, she's good. She wants to make more, but she doesn't need to make more. And she was like, but I'm not going to go another day feeling good because I'm way too busy. Like I'm working way more hours than I want to, and I don't want to make less, right? So like, how do I at least just stable out and like,
Get my life back is
yeah, get my life back. Like, so again,
that-
like that's an energy thing. It's,
yeah,
it's all about energy.
Get your life back is a very common. They're like, I do want to scale. I want to grow this business. But right now, if I grow the business, I will die. And like, I need my life back first.
And we've gotten there. What has it been, 3 months? And now she's got 2, I don't know if they're full-time, but they're definitely like working for her a lot, contractors. And she's automated and delegated and like done all the things. And just last week she was like, all right, I'm ready to move more into biz dev. And it's like, cool. Like we reset you.
Yeah.
You're good now. You're happy. Your energy's back. And now let's go scale. Like, and that's also
That's the game.
like a game. It's part of it. It's just all part of it.
That's the game.